evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome back to the University of Fantasy Basketball Podcast. It's your boy, Dr. Dane Andre, with our distinguished professor, Killanomics. We just been on a hiatus, but we are back and coming back to just talk some 2021 season with you, and then jump into the 2022 lottery draft. But first, we just want to share our thoughts after not really getting with y'all for the past season. So, we just want to go over and give the past season some acknowledgement, because we really didn't share our thoughts much last season. So, what's up, Killer?
Man. It's been a rough season, both for my Brooklyn Nets and my Brooklyn Phoenix. But, the season is behind us. We're now in preseason mode, or off-season mode, I should say. And so we're going to start to put in that work so that we're in a better position than we were a couple of months ago. So
True indeed.
Scary season is coming. So let's jump into it.
Let's do it. Yeah, man. So give props to the 2021-22 champions, Titanes de San Juan. They in a 6-3 victory. They beat my Great Danes in a truly frustrating matchup. But it's how the cookie crumbles. And yeah, give us your thoughts on this matchup, Killer.
Man, first of all, something just occurred to me. The Titans won each matchup 6-3. How lucky is that? Man, this has just been this was an unbelievable playoffs. I cannot believe that a team that did not make the playoffs last year was able to come away with the championship this season.
That's going to give a lot of people hope, man. That's going to give a lot of teams hope. So, just so you know, I mean, you can go from the bottom to the top in just a season. I'm gonna put it out there. This was a lucky win for Titanes. But I think you need a little bit of luck to win any championship, and he had a lot, and he had all the things going for him. He had the schedule. My team really underperformed, and we just didn't have enough games played. A lot of missed games for my team. But we made it an interesting matchup, and still they did do a lot of good things throughout the playoffs and the season that brought them to this point. Let's not forget that they did finish the season as a top 3 team. So by no means would I suggest they didn't belong in that matchup, but just me hating, man, and I got to throw luck in there, and
this felt very bubbly, man. This felt like a bubble championship, right? I don't know, just something felt off, but to your point, got to give props to the winner, right? I mean, they were able to do it 3 consecutive weeks, and they made the right decisions to put their team in a place to win a championship. Yeah, and big ups to the Knickerbockers, right? Right there, NYK is underneath new management, and they were able to get those guys in the playoffs. I mean, they were like flying, to start the season, probably top 2, top 3 teams, but unfortunately suffer some injuries. But I was really impressed with what that team did this season.
Definitely, man. It definitely shows what new management has brought to the table, and definitely salute that owner, and Yeah, man. This is looking at the top three teams who actually finished the season. One interesting thing is I don't know if this has ever happened before. We could look back in the archives, but this is one of the first times I've seen that the top three teams in regular season actually finished in the top three for the final in the finals. Meaning I was the first seed, but I finished second. Titans were the third seed, but finished first, and then um, Speedsters finished second, but ended up third in the rankings at the end of the day. Got that third place trophy. So that was a nice tidbit. But back to the Titans, man. I just want to say again, man, they did some interesting things and I could point to at least five things that brought them the championship. One is that their team pretty much, with the exception of Gordon Hayward, which the guy's always hurt, but um, stayed pretty much healthy throughout the playoffs and didn't really miss a lot of time, didn't really miss a lot of games. So that was one. The second is that had some breakout performances. So Miles Bridges, who was drafted a few years back by this franchise, and they held on, they held out hope, and put in the work with the development team, development staff came up big, and contract years coming. He's gonna get paid, probably by Charlotte,
Mm-hmm.
but he finished in the top, I don't know, top 20 this season. And
At least.
then number three, they had a couple of other top 20 players in Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. So that was also huge. And then let's not underestimate the free agency pickup, the waiver pickup of Jordan Poole. That came up huge for them, and really shot them through the playoff run. Really helped propel that run that they made in the playoffs. And I guess I'd say five is that they drafted Scotty Barnes, and Scotty Barnes was a key contributor in their starting lineup. So shout out to that decision. So you know a little bit of luck helps you win a championship, but when you are making moves the way this team made moves for the past few years to put themselves in a position to win this title, that's how it's done, y'all. So shout out to them once again.
Yeah, celebration indeed. So I want to reiterate, can you believe this? I mean, if we look at the performances and the players that were part of this championship run, did you ever think that Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert were going to be able to bring home some jewelry? It's just insane. But I mean, just to piggyback on what you said, I mean, it's just making the right decisions at the right time.
Yeah,
Um,
I also didn't mention Jalen Brunson. That pickup of Jalen Brunson throughout the season obviously came up big, and he's also trying to get a bag this summer. So again, making the right moves at the right times, and you know here you go.
it just shows you don't quit in the association because you never know when your time comes.
Yep,
Do you believe in magic?
Magic City.
You know it. So, a big question I'd like to ask, uh, Dane, is does team stats really matter? Like, I look at the regular season, and I look at like the top performing teams, like your Gotham Great Dames. I mean, you guys were, killing them in field goal percentage, free throws, points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, right? That's like what, 6, 7 categories, out of the 9, just
Mhm.
just nonstop force, right? And then I look at Titans, and the Titans maybe have field goals, free throws, threes, points, rebounds. Okay, he's got a little bit of defense. Um, but I guess, yeah, he just able to to keep his team or keep his players fresh, right? For a playoff run. And that's what it comes down to. We see time in and time out.
Yeah, man.
What,
I'll be honest, man. I got a confession to make, man. I I'm not smart enough to that. I don't look at this shit at all, bro. I don't look at team stats or where we, I don't look at none of it. I look at the teams and I'm like, this is what should happen, and I hope it does happen. And a lot of times it doesn't. But to your point, um, I think you mentioned my team was pretty strong in all those statistical categories, and it's maybe not a surprise that I finished as the top seed again for the second straight year. So maybe there's something to it, and I, but it's all funny, man. It all changes week to week, and it
mhm.
depends on who's playing and how many games and what your lineups are looking like. And I mean, these things they come so you can have a team that doesn't look very strong statistically as far as the accumulation they've um, made during the season, but then they can make a couple of moves here and there, get the right players that are hot at the right time, and now all of a sudden they're winning categories that you wouldn't have expected them to win based on their performance throughout the season. So I don't know, man. I can't look at that shit.
Yeah, I mean that was my experience, pretty much all season.
Mhm.
You hit the nail right on the head. Um, and right, this is like season 2 in the pandemic, right? Like the pandemic is still going crazy, and we had a big spurt like in the winter time where you got call ups from Allen Iverson and Antoine Walker, right, to come play for a couple of games. I mean, of course, not specifically those guys, but you knew where we were at, right? Like
Right.
folks that were playing in the big three, got their chance to play in an NBA game, man. It was exciting for me, right? Because these are the
Yeah.
players I grew up on, man. I got to
Right.
see
Right.
players I grew up on, and meanwhile, my man Udonis Haslam can't even get some bird. Like Haslam, I don't even think was playing during
Yo,
that
who
stretch.
you remember? Yeah, when ISO Joe came back, who was he playing for again? Was it the Jazz or
Celtic. I
so?
think he play, I think he
Oh, the
played for the
Celtics. You're right.
Celtics. I
You're
think he
right. You're
played for the
right. You're
Celtics,
right. It
man.
was the Celtics. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that was fun.
I wonder. Oh, that brings up a good question. I wonder if ISO Joe gets a championship ring. Like, but
Oh, is it?
Knowing the Celtics, they probably gonna do him dirty. They're
I
probably
don't
just like,
know.
they
Yeah.
probably like, nah.
I don't know. I think statutes of limitations come into play there. I don't know if he still counts as a member of this team or not. You know who I think will get a ring though, if they win the championship. Who did they trade for Derek White?
I do not remember who was involved in that trade. It might have been a draft pick, but I'm not sure.
Oh,
I,
okay.
I don't remember.
Oh, Schroeder. Schroeder
Oh,
was in that deal, right? I think Schroeder was in that deal somewhere. Did
nah,
Schroeder
no way, no way. Because he was
this
playing for Houston. He's been.
he's playing for Houston, but there's something like you can if you're traded at a certain point during the season and your team ends up making the finals and winning, you'll get a ring.
Mm,
There's a couple of players who that's happened to. I mean, nobody's gonna publicize that, but that's
good
what
to know.
that's what happens. But anyway.
All right. Well, let's continue to jump on into it, man. So next, we kind of want to go through a tutorial of what you don't want to do, right? Like, you get a bag full of money and you trying to figure out, what you want to purchase in the store. You want to make sure that you make that list of things that you need, right? And you don't want to overpay, but you certainly don't want to underpay. And so, I wanted to take this opportunity to
God damn,
highlight.
speaking of Dennis Schroeder, you got $21?
21, man.
Oh shit.
Man, this was before inflation too. Yeah,
Oh
this is
man.
this is just piss poor. Like this is like auction one-on-one. I mean, we've got a franchise that waited to pick number 16, Dane, had over $200. You passing up on Steph Curry, Karl Anthony Towns, James Harden. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty expensive.
We don't want those bums.
LeBron, Kawhi Leonard, if you're thinking about the future.
Bum. Give me TJ McConnell, baby.
TJ. Yeah, and let me surround him and get him some shooting with.
Well, Wiggins was an all-star.
Cameron Payne. That's a good combination. Or maybe Harrison Barnes has an awakening, right? And he could be a top 50 player. I mean, he showed it in the beginning of the season.
He's been known to do some things. Spencer Dinwiddie, 31.
Spencer Dinwiddie, $31. Man, this is just crazy, man. What do you think was going through this manager's head?
I can't speculate, but I would love to maybe an interview. Maybe we can get him on the pod and discuss strategy. Maybe there's something to glean from there.
Steve Blake Express, you heard it here first. We want to hear you on the podcast. We want to hear it from your mouth. What was going on? What were you thinking? And just overall, what is your approach when you come into the season? It's been a roller coaster ride for you guys, and we want to see you. We want to see you do well. Of course, not beat our franchises, but we want you to be competitive. And that's just not a competitive roster. From top to bottom, that is just trash.
Yeah, that's not gonna get it done.
But man, it's that time. It's that time. We got a new segment, Dane.
All right.
It's the shot clock, 24 seconds, rapid fire response to a couple of questions I've got for you.
Okay.
First one. Most likely to be the number one fantasy player for 2022-23 season.
Ooh, this is early. Who was it last year? You know what, man? I don't see anything changing, man. I'm sticking with Jokic, man. I think what he's done the last couple of seasons has been nothing short of incredible, and I don't see anything really changing there. So let me go with Jokic.
All right, change of possession. Let's go. Next question. Association team that will surprise you most in the 2022-23 season.
I've got my eye on King's Landing. I think I like the moves that they made towards the end of the season. They're in position to get another young talented player, and then they should have some money coming into this free agency period to add some more pieces. So I like what they have in terms of Anthony Davis, Jakob Poeltl, LaMelo Ball, Bradley Beal, Bam Adebayo. I mean, that's a strong five right there. And, add some more pieces to that. I mean, that's going to be a strong team.
That'll be gravy. So who will hold the 22-23 association trophy?
Ooh, got a lot of good candidates here, man. Got a lot of good candidates. Let's not, I think this could be Amherst's year. I think they could have won it last year. I think they maybe didn't drop Jordan Poole. They would have had some more firepower to get them over the hump. But let's not forget about a team like Rucker Park, who also added some nice pieces at the end of the year. And then,
right, who's gonna hold that trophy? Come on.
I'm going with Amherst.
All right. Like it. Who's going to be the biggest flop in fantasy next year
As a player?
as a team?
Oh, as a team. Oh, hmm. Uh, you know, we just got back from a season where we saw the defending champion drop all the way to the bottom of the league. I'm gonna go with Titanes de San Juan.
Okay. And segue right into my next question.
hmm
Does San Juan win a championship again in the next 3 years? Yes or no?
No.
5 years? Yes or no?
Maybe. But no.
10 years? Yes or no?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Most underwhelming team in the association, we already said. All right, now we're starting to think about a couple years out, 3 years out. Which player is going to have more value, Curry or Trae Young in fantasy basketball over the next 3 years?
I'm going Ice Tray, baby.
Okay, Ice Trae, I like it. Towns or Embiid?
Towns or Embiid? For what?
The next 3 years.
Oh, God.
I know.
Oh man.
Who's going harder in the paint?
Joel's my guy. I want to go with Joel, but I think I could see Cat getting better. I could see him making another jump. So I'm gonna go with Cat.
Okay, you going with the wankster? I see you. Luka or Tatum over the next 3 years?
I'm gonna go with Luka.
Okay, Cade or Mobley over the next 3 years?
As the better
fantasy basketball player.
That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. They'll both be top 10 guys at some point, man. I'm gonna go with Cade.
Okay, I like it. Well, thank you, Dane. This has been a fun segment. And
great questions.
And now we're gonna shift gears and get into the Association 2022 Rookie Draft Lottery. There's been a lot of noise, man. Teams are super excited to see where their positions are gonna be and how they're gonna build their foundation for the next couple of years.